to welcome Dr. Seemanthini, Associate, Associate Professor in the Department of Machine Learning at B.M.S College of Engineering, Bengaluru, as the expert speaker for today's hands-on sessions, automating business process with AI, from chatbots to smart assistants. With over 16 years of teaching and 8 years of dedicated research experience, Dr. Seemanthini is an accomplished academician in the field of artificial intelligence and computer vision. She completed her PhD in computer science and engineering from Visvesvaraya Technology University in 2020, following her MTech from RV College of Engineering and BE from PES College of Engineering. Dr. Seemanthini has played a key role in fostering innovations and entrepreneurship as the convener of the Institution Innovation Council under the Ministry of Education, AICT, and as a certified innovation ambassador trainer. Her expertise spans AI, deep learning, probabilistic ML, and innovations-led initiative. She has completed 3 DST-funded research projects and has published 25 plus papers in reputed journals and conferences. As an active academic contributor, she has organized FDP, MOUs, and served as session chairs and technical committee members at national and international forums. Her session promises a practical and inspiring deep dive into AI-powered business automation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, sir. I'll be sharing my screen now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Very good evening to all the participants. And I thank the Chitkara University and the IIT Roorkee for giving me an opportunity to interact and deliver the today's talk on automating business processes using AI. It's like a 12 days FTP which they are organizing by considering the related concepts of deep learning and its applications. When we start talking with respect to the basic concepts of deep learning itself, in the initial days, we were mainly focusing on the basic concepts of machine learning, neural networks, where we were mainly talking about either it can be a supervised, unsupervised reinforcement. When we started talking with respect to the basic concepts of neural network, where we started discussing with respect to the basic concepts of perceptron, single layer perceptron, multi-layered perceptron. Next to that, we started talking with respect to the basic concepts of RBF, radial basis functions. Next, we started discussing with respect to the unsupervised neural networks, where we were mainly focusing on SAW, self organizing map. Later on, in the coming days, we started discussing with respect to how can we make use of the neural network concepts for a deep as well as a complex applications, where we are focusing on the basic concepts of deep learning. How can we make use of some of the algorithms? Either it can be a RNN, LSTM, CNN. These are the basic applications which works on some concepts of computer visions, some concepts of NLP. Later on, we started talking with respect to the automation process. In the recent days, we are mainly focusing on, rather than predicting and inferencing the results, we are generating the data. That is how the basic concept of data generation is introduced, where we are mainly focusing on the concepts of fine tuning, RAG, prompt, proximal policy optimizer. In some of the cases where we were
Excuse me.
talking with respect to,
Ma'am, your only first slide is shown.
yes, sir, I'm
Automating.
still with respect to my first slide,
Okay.
where we are focusing on with respect to some concepts of constitutional AI, responsible AI. Now, people are mainly working on multimodal as well as an agentic AI. This is the current technologies which the people are majorly focusing on from the last 10 years. And with respect to my today's topic is automating business processes with AI from chatbots from chatbots to smart assistants. When we started talking with respect to the automatic business processes with AI, this title itself involves various technologies. Either it can be the basic concepts of artificial intelligence, business processing automation, chatbots, the smart assistants, some concepts of NLP, machine learning. In some of the cases, we need the basic concepts of robot process automation. If the chatbot is a voice assistant, in such cases, we need the concept of a speech recognition, conversational AI, and some concepts of ethical AI, right? These are all the basic technologies which is involved behind talking with respect to automating business processes using AI. When I talk about a business process automation itself, here, what are we doing it? Why do we need to automate the business processes? How AI is playing a very important role in automating our business processes. In the sense, as we all seen, right, some of the tasks are repetitively handled, which needs more human intervention. In such cases, we need to improve the efficiency of the task by reducing the human manpower or the human intervention is very important. For example, let me take an example of the invoice processing, right? Or in some cases, the employee onboarding, order fulfillment, customer support. These are the basic applications where the human interventions can be quietly reduced. So, AI is playing a very important role in achieving this. When we started talking with respect to the concepts of artificial intelligence, what are we majorly looking at? We are majorly focusing on mimicking the humans. In the sense, we are trying to create a machines which mimics the human intelligence. And it is not so easy for us to create the machines which mainly focus on the human intelligence, because we can make the machines to work as humans, but we need to indulge it with decision making processes. In some of the cases, we need to make the system to learn, relearn, understand the language. This is quite complexing. So here we are also focusing on some concepts of the chatbots as well as the smart assistants. When we talk with respect to the traditional chatbots, they were all manual. They were mainly working on with respect to the rule-based concepts, right? Here, in the today's generation, we are mainly focusing on how are we going to create the chatbots using AI. The smart assistants. I think most of us are using a smart assistants at home nowadays. Either it can be a Alexa or it can be a Siri. In some of the cases, like most of the online professionals, the people who are working in IT will be using a Google Assistants, either for us voice recognition or the Google Lens. These are all some of the assistants what we are using on the day-to-day basis. And along with all these assistants, there is also some of the technologies that is a NLP, where it is mainly focusing on the textual analysis, right? And next to that, we started talking with respect to how can we make use of the prompts for the sentimental analysis. And Later on, we started talking with respect to the large language modeling, that is the concept of a generative AI, which is mainly focusing on taking the prompt as an input and providing some of the applications of the AI, that it can be a summarization, or it can be the translation, or it can be the information retrieval. In some of the cases, we can also use it for the analysis or the basic applications what we have seen with respect to the LLM. And as I said, the conversational AI plays a very important role with respect to the chatbots or the smart assistants, where we are interacting with the humans as well as the systems, right? These are the basic technologies which
And the slides
we
are
are.
not moving.
I should start.
The slide is not
This is
moving
just
now.
a brief introduction. I'm talking with respect to the technologies. I'll start with my slides. Yes, this is with respect to the brief technologies or the uh, applications, what we are mainly focusing on whenever we are talking with respect to the automating business processes using AI. As I said, AI plays a very important role. What are we doing it? We are mainly focusing on mimicking the human intelligence. As I said, we observe the surrounding environment, we process it, we perceive, we analyze, and take the actions based on the observations what we have carried out. That is what we are making the systems to work. In the sense, the artificial intelligence is one of the concept where we are training the machines to behave like humans. Most importantly, it should be able to take the rational decisions. And what is the role of AI in India? AI is placing, like, let me take an example of the GDP of 2025. With respect to the GDP, the AI is playing whatever the data or the AI with respect to the uh, uh, GDP of 2025, it plays a very important role and the potential contributions towards the data. Let me take an example of each and every domain. For example, agricultural domain, where we are mainly focusing on the crop yield protection by improving the efficiency of the crop yield, and also we are focusing on automatic detection of the diseases with respect to the plants, and even with respect to the banking sectors, with respect to the transport, healthcare, consumer goods. In each and every domain, the AI is playing a very important role. As per our PM Narendra Modi vision by 2025, this is what we are discussing with respect to the role of AI and the data. If you consider any of the domain, this is what we are considering with respect to the 2025 vision. Either it can be with respect to the agriculture, where we are focusing on improving the yields of the crops, focusing on the failure production, with respect to the energy, where we are focusing on the renewable energy management, with respect to the technology, how can we connect with respect to MSMEs in healthcare, remote diagnosis as well as the treatment, optimizing of the resources. When we talk with respect to the analytics, where we are talking the risk modeling, the financial risk modeling. When we talk with respect to the logistics, where the traffic pattern analysis as well as the optimization of the spatial data, these are all some of the visions which Modi ji is mainly focusing on. And next to that, nowadays, each and everyone says AI is taking our jobs. No, that is not true. AI is creating the jobs. Starting from the pre processing acquisition to the deployment, in each and every phase, AI is evolving. In the sense, when we start with respect to the acquisition as well as the preparations, which is the main domain of the data engineers as well as the admins, when we started talking with respect to the feature engineering, the preparation, the training, where the data scientists play a very important role. And when we start talking with respect to the monitoring as well as the feedback processing, the DevOps engineer plays an important role. And when we talk with respect to the production as well as the development, the architect as well as the engineers are playing a very important role. In the sense, each and every day we are improving the efficiency of the tasks what we are accomplishing by inculcating the concepts of AI in a day-to-day basis. Nowadays, we can say AI as one of the concept of necessity. It is not a it's a boon to the society. It's not a disadvantage, or it is not the uh, concept which is affecting the humans. Let me take an example. What if AI ran your office? In the sense, let us imagine we are walking into our office on a Monday morning, and you have around 300 emails, pending emails, and you need to take the approval of those emails. I will be using one of the AI assistant which is going to read my mails, draft the responses, prioritize the mails which I can go through, and also schedule your meetings automatically. In the sense, there is no overloading of the work, there is no chaos, or it is just reducing the time which is required for us to think, lead, as well as innovate, right? How how this can be possible? In the sense, most of the big companies, I can say the Google is completely modified as a 100% AI based company. Either it can be using a Google Translator, Google Maps, Google Lens, what and all, Google search, each and every application what are we using, or voice assistant or the translator, is completely developed using the basic concepts of AI. Nowadays, the concepts, the self-driving cars, where the Tesla is mainly focusing on, the recommendation system, where the Amazon is mainly working on, right? And the monitoring of the crops, or some of the vision applications. Either it can be with respect to the recognition, posture recognition, gesture recognition, right? These are all the major applications. And not only with respect to the recognition, we are also focusing on the analysis. Either it can be with respect to the vision, or it can be with respect to the text. These are all some of the major technologies where AI is playing a very important role. As I said, either it can be with respect to the natural language processing, or it can be with respect to the concepts of vision, big data analytics, automation, or some of the concepts of AI, where where each and every applications are ruling the entire world. Now, let us discuss why do we need to automate? How automation plays a very important role with respect to our day-to-day life. Why do we need to automate? Right? The first thing is time as well as the cost savings, right? The amount of time required to read 300 mails and to respond those mails is quite huge compared to automatically generating the assistants which can read mail and respond. That is one of the major priority where we are focusing on. Automation plays a very important role with respect to each and every repetitive tasks, where it is going to improve the productivity. It is going to improve the resource utilization. There will be a transparency with respect to the tasks what we have accomplished. And it also provides a customer's satisfaction. And also we are standardizing the tasks what are we implementing. These are some of the major criteria how as well as why the automation is playing a very important role. And again, why are we automating? As I said, it is making us to complete our tasks faster than ever, either by using a clients or by using the hybrid teams. And as I said, AI is not no longer, right, it's no longer an optional, it's a necessity. Nowadays it's a necessity to scale up, to improve the efficiency, and also to speed up our work, right? Recently, we had received the McKinsey report where the repetitive tasks are eating our time by 60 to 70%, right? That, like, for example, the basic example what I had taken, invoice assistant, or the basic examples of the repetitive tasks, what we do it on a day to day basis, right? To avoid all these, we need to automate the entire process. How can we automate it? Let us have these topics in detail. In the sense, everybody wants to have their own startups. Everybody wants to be their own like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. In the sense, when we talk with respect to the business in 2015, right? They are not the biggest business, they are all the smartest business. That is what we are mainly focusing on, and that is what matters a lot in the current generation. When we started talking with respect to the business process automation, right, what are we going to do with respect to the process automation? We are using the technology which is reducing the recurrent tasks, either in any of the applications or in a corporate or in a business, where we can reduce the human effort, right, and speed up, scale up, and improve the execution of the respective application, right? I'm not going to say it's going to eliminate the jobs or it is going to snatch the jobs of the humans. No, it is improving the productivity, thereby reducing the time and also executing it faster. This is one of the timeline what we have seen with respect to the evolution of AI and ML from 1950 to 2025. This is the timeline which is mainly focusing on how, in the sense, as I said, initially we started talking with respect to the in 1930, the people from MIT, the directors of MIT, they started talking with respect to the basic concepts of AI. How are we going to create an intelligent machines? And later on in 1950s, the Watson, the Norvig, the person, the scientist who works at the Berkeley laboratory, who invented one of the robot in his laboratory as a basic robot, which mainly focuses on a laundry folding, right? That is one of the basic applications what they developed. Later on, the Turing machine, where an Alan Turing introduced how the human interrogator and AI performs its job, right? And that is what the basic inventions where they started with respect to using the basic concept of AI. And in 1970s and 1980s, they started implementing the basic concepts of neural network, where they started mimicking the human brain. Recently, two of our scientists in physics and chemistry, one is on occupied network, one is on associative memory, they got a Nobel Prize using those concepts in physics and chemistry, right? And in 90s, people started talking with respect to the era of perceptron, and they started talking with respect to the concepts of the convolutional neural network. And later on, in the late 20s and all, the concept of autonomous came into existence, where the people started working on the use of manual to automatic. Nowadays, majorly the people are focusing on autonomous, right? This is what the inventions as well as the evolutions of AI and ML from last 50 to 75 years. As I said, initially we started with the manual tasks, and later on we started moving from the manual to the automated. Now we are majorly focusing on autonomous tasks, where the concept of the reinforcement learning, where the reward hacking, the reward models plays a very important role here. When we were talking with respect to the manual, the human driven approach was one of the basic thing. When we automated it, we had the readily given scripts along with the certain rules based were given to execute it. When we started talking with respect to the autonomous, the agentic AI came into the existence. With respect to the testing also, initially we started with entering the data. We started entering all the fields. Later on, we started making use of OCRs for the extraction of the data. Now, completely we are using an autonomous, where we have used the concepts of LLMs, where we have used the concepts of positional embedding, the transformers, the vector spaces, right? These are all some of the concepts which is making us to use the concepts of automated business processing using AI. As I said, we were focusing on the concepts of the rule based, the technologies. Next to that, we started talking with respect to the basic concepts of NLP, where we were discussing majorly on text processing. Later on, we started talking with respect to the large language modeling, where the text will be given as a prompt to the LLM, which is going to process and provide the required results. Now we are focusing on the agentic AI. This is one of the advanced topic where we are focusing on. When we were talking with respect to the rule-based agents, right? The person should sit and edit each and everything. In the sense, it will be represented in the form of if-else statement. If the condition is true, the statements inside the if will be executed. It's quite complex. It's quite rigid, and also it is going to break easily. Next to that, we started talking with respect to analyzing the text and processing that text using some of the NLP models, using some of the BERT, or it can be uh, some of the other LLM, like NLP models which we are focusing on, or it can be Robusta or any NLP model. Next to that, we started talking with respect to different types of LLMs. Either it can be the GPT, or using the different versions of Flans, different versions of Llama. Nowadays, we are using the Gemini, Crew AI, Grono, the different types of the LLMs we are focusing on. And along with that, we have an autonomous system, that is an agentic AI, which has made us to execute the applications completely autonomous. Before talking with respect to the basic concepts of chatbots as well as the smart assistants, let us have a look at how these systems are designed. When we talk with respect to the rule based, right? Like the rule based have a specific knowledge. In the sense, for example, if I take any of the interfaces before it is going to provide the data to the inference engine, right? It will be executing the statements in the form of a if else statement. It is going to check the database, the facts, or else the external databases will be considered before it is delivering it to the inference engine, right? That is how the rule-based systems were designed. We have a different types of the rule-based systems. Either it can be a static system, or it can be a dynamic system, or it can be the expert system. When we started talking with respect to the static rule-based, right, here the rules are set accordingly what we need, and that is never be going to change. This is going to follow a strict, rigid, static rules for the execution. This is most commonly used in a financial company. Next to that, we have another one called as the dynamic rule based, where we are going to adjust the rules based on the real time data or based on some of the conditions what we have taken. Some of the examples where we have seen with respect to the dynamic rules is the trading as well as the e-commerce platforms. These are the major applications where we have seen a dynamic rule based systems. And next, we have another type of a rule based system where we call it as a expert system. Let me take an example of the expert system. I can say my I have I have I have I have a bone injury. So I need to consult a doctor. Obviously, I'll not be going to consult a doctor who is in the corner of my house. I'll be going to consult a doctor who is specialized with respect to this domain. In the sense, I'll be going to consult the person who treat the injuries with respect to the bone, that is an orthopedic, right? In the sense, when we talk with respect to the expert system, we are going to consult or the person who is able to diagnose the disease, who is expertised or specialized with respect to that domain. This is how the rule based systems are focused on. In the sense, when we start talking with respect to the basic concepts of automation, as I said, from manual, we started moving towards the automated. From automated, we are moving towards the autonomous. The manual is completely based on the rule based. Next, automated, where we use the concepts of NLP for the text processing, for the sentimental analysis, for the recommendation systems, for some of the other applications where we focusing on the concepts of NLP. The autonomous is majorly focusing on the concepts of the LLM as well as an agentic AI. We have discussed the basic concepts of a rule-based agents before designing our chatbot. Now, let me take a brief introduction of how this NLP plays a very important role with respect to the applications of AI, right? Where we are using this computers to interact with respect to the human language. Basically, you might have seen some of the applications where we are going to recognize the speech, analyze the given sentence, in some of the cases, entity recognition, in some of the cases, whatever the text or the audio or the video I have given as an input, that will be converted and that will be processed. A lot of inventions are happening with respect to the basic concepts of natural language processing. People were majorly focusing on the text processing before they start inventing the basic concepts of large language model. As we all know, right, whenever we talk, whatever we talk, the most of the time we introduce the local language or the native language with English. In the sense, I never say few of the sentences either completely in Hindi or completely in English. That is what we do. That is what we call it as a cross-lingual talk, right? Most of the inventions with respect to the natural language processing are focusing on the cross-lingual talks, right? Either with respect to the understanding of the language, with respect to the generation, how the people are conversing each other, how the humans are interacting, how the intelligent chatbots are created, right? This is this is what the basic concepts where the people were started talking or I can say the machine started talking, right? Either with respect to the help of text, with respect to the audio, or with respect to the video. In each and every phase, right, we are translating the human talks to the machine. The machine captures the tasks either in the form of an audio or in the form of a text that will be converted to the required component. It will be processed. Again, the data will be converted back to the required format for the understanding as well as the generation purpose. These are some of the basic models, the NLP models, what we were focusing on. As I said, either it can be the BERT, or it can be the Roberta, or it can be the Distilbert, Albert, right? These are the different inventions which we had seen from last 10 years. In 2018, the people started talking with respect to the basic concepts of BERT. Later on, Roberta came into existence. They're like how these models are differentiated with each other. Most commonly by the number of parameters what we use, the amount of a training time it takes to execute, the performance, right? We have a evaluation matrices. Either it can be a blue model, or it can be a row model, or it can be a glue, right? These are all some of the evaluation matrices what we had used to evaluate these different models, right? When we talk with respect to the BERT, right, the number of layers it takes to execute is around 12. The same in case of the Robota and Albert, where the distill BERT takes around the 6. The training time, the amount of the time it takes to execute. As we all know, when we are talking with respect to the basic concepts of a LLM itself, if I need if I need 4 GB of a data to store my 4 GB of the memory is required to store my data, then around 80 GB of the memory is required to train the model. In the sense, the amount of the data required to process this operations is quite huge. That is the reason in the earlier days when we were doing our research, we used to take around 5 to 6 days of time to train our models itself, because we were making use of the CPU. Nowadays, the people are using the GPU, TPU, and also most of the people are making use of PPU facility for the parallel processing of the data, right? So this is with respect to the basic. Like we have discussed how we can work with respect to the rule-based model. Later on, we started talking with respect to the different types of the NLP models. Either it can be the BERT. This is some of the like basic architectures which we are talking about. Let me take an example. The bank is situated on the dash of the river. In the sense, we need to wish I should fill this, right? How? I'm just going to identify the word which suits better. In the earlier days, when we were using the basic concepts of RNN, right, there was a dependency or the relationship maintained between the neighboring elements or the neighboring text. Based on that, I started introducing my next, or I started generating my next word. For example, the teacher taught the student from the book. The teacher taught the student from the book. In such cases, there is a dependency between the teacher and the student, not with the book. That is the major cause for the invention of the concept of LLM. In the sense, rather than using the recurrent neural network, they started using another concept called as a self-attention mechanisms. How does this self-attention mechanism came into existence, and when does they started making use of this self-attention mechanism? The people from Google and few academicians of Berkeley, they introduced a paper, white paper in 2017 called as The Attention is All You Need. where they started they started providing the attention mechanism between each and every text in the prompt what they have considered, so that it is easier for us to analyze and generate the new text. Till today, from last 50 to 60 years, majorly focused either on predicting the data or inferencing the data. Right? The agent used to observe the surrounding environment, and the agent used to predict the results or infer the results based on the observations. That's all. We never used to generate the data. With the help of this self attention mechanism, we are able to generate the data, we are able to generate the audio message, video message, and so on, right? In the sense, these are all the whatever the models I have added here, the same data I have represented it here with respect to the architecture, how this robota is represented, right? In some cases, we need to improve the number of parameters required. So few design changes were made. Here you have a multi-head attentions. Along with that, we have some concepts of the feed-forward networking. Next to that, we started embedding with respect to the encoder-decoder models. Next to that, when we start with respect to the distilled part, here multi-head attention mechanism came into existence. When we started talking with respect to the all part, here we improved by using the concept of embedding. In the sense, this is how the different methods of the NLP models were introduced mainly to improve the efficiency of the network. Right now, we have discussed the basic concepts of the rule based. Next to that, we discussed how we automated, how we used automatic concepts using the NLP models. The next invention is with respect to the LLM, large language modeling, where we are mainly focusing on completely autonomous agents. Whatever the data we give to the prompt, whatever the data we give it to the LLM is the prompt. The prompt will be processed, and that will be converted as an output either on the input what we have received. For example, I can generate the data, I can summarize the data, I can translate the data, I can analyze the data, and also I can retrieve the data using some APIs, right? When I said we are focusing on the basic concepts of a transformer, what do we do? What is the first step we focus on? We mainly focus on the tokenization, right? When we talk with respect to either the GPTs or the BERT or some of the other FLAM, T5 models, we majorly focus on the self-attention mechanism. The initial part with respect to the self-attention mechanism starts with whatever the input we take, that will be converted into the tokens. The tokens will be sent to the positional embedding where it will be aligned in the vector space given, and later that will be mapped using the attention mechanism and will be sent for the output. In the sense where we mainly focus on both the encoder decoder model. As we all know, we focus majorly, like when we talk with respect to the basic concepts of LLM, we eitherly focus on auto-regressive model, auto-generative models, or sequence-to-sequence model. What type of a model a GPT is? People are making use of chat GPT on a day-to-day basis. Most of the AI tools are used on a day-to-day basis. For example, when I say about the chat GPT, it is only the decoder model. There is no encoder model is added with respect to the chat GPT, right? When we talk with respect to the analysis, sentimental analysis, in such cases, there is a sequence to sequence task is required where we add both the concepts of encoder as well as the decoder. When we are performing the translation operations, in such cases, only the encoder model is enough to perform the translation operations, right? These are all some of the language models which we are using on a day-to-day basis. Most of us are already familiar with that. For example, people are not completely indulged in coding. They are focusing on either the GitHub copilots or the mutables, and some of the uh, dev tools are most commonly used on a day-to-day basis. And with respect to the copywritings, right? With respect to the uh, chats, right? These are all some of the large language models which we are focusing on, right? People are using the inferencing for that is either it can be a Hugging Face or it can be an open AI, right? When we are fine tuning the model, we can make use of both the Google AI, Google Assistant, the AWS, uh, and when we talk with respect to the hardware, as I said, the GPU as well as a TPU plays a very important role. The parallel processing, the CUDA programming, the NVIDIA people are like they are making use of a DGX servers, and they are selling these products to each and everyone. I can say like these hardware companies are minting money like anything, because each and every server costs around 3 to 4 crores, right? That is how this concept of LLM or the hardware or the automation is evolving on a day-to-day basis. Yes. Now we have discussed the basic concepts of rule-based, NLP, LLM. Next, we are focusing on the agentic AI. We are having the different concept of agents, talking agents, or information. Some of the agents are most commonly used as a conversational agents. Some of the agents are used for group chatting, right? When we talk with respect to the agents or the agentic AI, we are automating the systems to take the decisions. What does an agent do? Agent always observes the surrounding environment, perceives it, and take actions and take decisions based on the observations it has carried out. I was talking. There is a math problem solving. In such cases, the student need an assistance or the expert to solve such problems. In some of the cases, I need to take the decisions. I'm a little bit confused about the decisions what I need to take in such cases. In some of the cases, I said RAG, retrieval augmented generation. What do? We take the inputs from the external sources. We take the inputs from the database, from the knowledge base, from the internet, from each and every external sources are used for taking the decision or for retrieving the data. In some of the cases, a single agent is not enough to solve the problem. In such cases, what do? We take an example of the multi-agents, right? These are all some of the basic applications where an agent is playing a very important role. As I said, when we talk with respect to an agentic AI, either we talk with respect to the land graph. Before that, we used to talk about the lang chains and lang flow. Now people are making use of a crew AI, right? These are all some of the LLMs or the open source tools what we are using on a day-to-day basis. When I talk with respect to the uh, Crew AI, it starts. This is one of the smart assistant. This is one of the tool which we are using to create our smart assistants. How are we using that? Right? We start our process. We enter the sequence. We take the inputs from the assistant tools, what is available. We write, and again we repeatedly perform the same task until we execute it. What is the major use of using this Crew AI? Right? The reason is we can easily execute the complex functionalities or the complex application using this Crew AI, where we are mainly focusing on the multi-model as well as the multi-agent execution, right? Let me take an example, right? Here, I have taken two examples. One is indicating the market analysis, and the another one is indicating the store manager. The Crew AI contains three important concepts. One is the role. What is the role of the analyst? What is the goal of the analyst? And what is the backstory? This is what it is going to generate. The role is market trend analyst when he is performing the market analysis operations. The goal is he need to provide the recommendations to rearrange the product arrangement, right, based on the trends. When you talk with respect to the backstory, you should have a in-depth knowledge of the customer behavior and how can you come up with the effective recommendations, right? These are the 3 points where the Crew AI is majorly focusing on. When we talk with respect to the store manager, in the same way, it has the 3 points. The store manager, where he is going to analyze the shelves in the physical store, and he is also going to provide the detailed report, right? And also, he is going to provide the backstory of that, right? This is what we were talking with respect to the agentic architecture, right? User is going to connect to the AI agent. AI agent will be going to connect to the LLM database, vector database, and if it is any optimization is required, it is going to optimize. With a combination of all that, it is going to take the action, right? This is what an agentic AI is majorly focusing on. The same thing I have given in detail. Have a look at this example. Here, as I said, the agents takes the actions, right? Before taking the action, he also performs some operation of a rack. This is what is he doing it, right? He can also use the concepts of react, that is reasoning along with the action. Some concepts of a lang chain, that is a chain of thoughts, tree of thoughts were used. Everything is combined, and that will be given to the model. If required, some of the tools are used, and the response will be given for the query what we have received. I was talking about the crew, lang chain, lang flow, and all. It's like a, it's like they are the framework where we have a set of packages. One is for the data processing, one is for the vector processing, vector database we call it as, uh, word embeddings at the LLM, right? This is what we do. We take the model, we format it, we predict it, we parse it, right? And it has certain theory also, like when we were talking with respect to that, it has the chains, it has the links. Using that, we will be performing an operations. And when we talk with respect to the RAG, what does an RAG do? Why RAG is playing a very important role. Now, already we are replacing RAG with CAG and CAG, where a retrieval augmented generation is replaced by cache augmented generation. Again, the cache augmented generation is replacing by knowledge augmented generation. This is how the technology is evolving on a day-to-day basis, right? Whatever the query a user asks, right? We need to process it. The prompt, whatever the prompt we have given to the LLM, right? That has to process. So it takes either the models, the documents, the vector spaces, in some of the cases, external sources will be considered to generate the output, right? That is what we are mainly focusing on using the basic concepts of a rack. So this is one of the survey which we have taken by the McKinsey in 2023, right, with respect to the AI in workspace. Employees are more ready to take the change. As I have seen, 3 into more employees are using Gen AI. Around like more than 70% of all employees are ready to use it. and few 30% are more of their, like they're majorly focusing on it. And most of the companies are investing in Gen AI, but they are not yet achieved it majorly, right? That is also some of the report what we have received from McKinsey, right? And you can also have a look at how the people started making use of an agentic AI. This is one of the report what we have received. Extensive familiarity with agentic with Gen AI. This is the age group which we have taken, and comfortable is using Gen AI at work, using Gen AI tools, and design of Gen AI tools. This is what the survey which we have taken in 2025 by Sundar Pichai, right? He has taken this analysis for the usage of Gen AI. Major people who are mainly focusing on the usage of this with respect to the spend analysis, uh, how the people are focusing on with respect to the business leaders, with respect to the employees, right? How they wanted to automate the data, right? Now we have understood the theoretical concepts of either using the uh, basic concepts of rule based agents, or using the NLP, or using the agents, or using the concepts of LLM. Now, as I said, the chatbots. Why do we need these chatbots? How chatbots plays a very important role, right? In the sense, in the previous days, when we were talking with respect to the chatbots, we were able to get the answers only for the predefined questions. If I ask any extra questions, it was directly connecting us to the executive. We can talk to the executive and get it clarified. But most commonly, most of the most of the solutions were not met using the manual chatbots. That is the reason we are inculcating the concepts of AI to automate the chatbots, which can take the data from the external sources, retrieve the data using a RAG from the external sources to provide the solution to answer the questions automatically. In the sense, most of us need a chatbot. Why do we need it? To make us. For example, if we go to the Bangalore airport, we have a we have a robot called as Mini, right? Which answers most of our questions. We need not to make use of the people who are at the airport to take the boarding pass or to talk to the required questions. The team itself will be able to solve most of the problems at the airport, right? That is one of the airport assistant which we have used on a day-to-day basis for the execution of this data. In the sense, what does it contains? We have certain key components, right? One is the question answering system. Whatever the questions we ask, right, we expect the answers for those questions. In some of the cases, it can be with respect to the environment. In some of the cases, with respect to the traffic servers. In some of the cases, with respect to the expert system, the trends as well as the systems what we have used. In some of the cases, with respect to the integrations, right? How can we create and integrate it? When we talk with respect to the chatbot, either the stacks or the Skypes or the messengers, right? It will go to the application, it receives the message, right? That will parse, right? Whatever it is parsed, that will be converted into the result, require the API to integrate it automatically and take the response, give it back to the humans, right? We have an input layer which accepts the user's queries. We have a NLP tools, frameworks, right, which identifies the entities. We have a dialogue managers, right, who handles the conversations. We have our APIs, which connects us to the different components to fetch the data. We have a generator who provides the responses. This is how the chatbots are designed. This is the complete chatbot. In the sense, you have a name entity recognition as well as the classification, right? Both of these, once the message is sent, the user has sent, it is performing the intent classification. The intent classifications will be executed as a sentimental analysis. Either it is going to take the intent, it is classified either as a positive, neutral, or the negative sentences. When we talk with respect to the entity recognition, here we are going to identify the name, entities or the names with respect to that particular message which we have taken. Right? Based on that, context as well as the response is generated, which will be given to the humans as a response. In the sense, it has majorly two components. One is for the sentimental analysis, which we call it as intent classification. One is for the entity recognition, that is for the name entity recognition. That is what the architecture of the chatbot mainly focuses on. Next, this has the complete descriptions. Like, as we all know, behind each and every basic concepts of artificial intelligence or machine learning, there is a concept of mathematics, where we majorly focus on the, either it can be a probability, or it can be the statistics, or it can be the inferencing, or it can be the linear algebra, or the calculus, tensors, right? When we design these chatbots also, right? I say, the bot says it's raining, right? I need to check the probability of the rain is 80%. Please carry the umbrella, right? That is what the message I'm going to generate. This is what the response I'm going to generate, right? Now, let us take a basic example how can we create. I'll be going to show the demo of how are we going to create a chatbots and all later on. This is some of the basic example where we can make use of the Rasa. This is already an online available tool where we can use the pip install for the creation of the basic chatbots. Install Rasa, create the project, provide the required prompts, take the response, right? I've given the input as greet, hello, I, good morning. What is the response I'm getting? How can I help you today, right? That is one of the basic response which I can create it using the bot, right? This is a simple basic bot. I've just added the screenshots here. If you want, you can take a you make use of it, where we are going to create a basic chatbot, right? Here, like in some of the cases, we are also going to create the text blobs, which is majorly used for the sentimental analysis, right? For example, different platforms we have for handling these chatbots. If I use the Slack API, you can use it for team support. If you want to, if it is a WhatsApp, you can make use of the customer support channels. If it is of a CRM, I can make use of the log tickets. If it is for sending reports, I can make use of the SMTP. If it is for updating the records, I can make use of the databases. These are all some of the tools which are like APIs which are readily available. Very important it is, which most of us are making use of it on a day-to-day basis. And this is one of the case study which I have just taken to like to indicate how can we make use of the how can we reduce the support cost by 40%. In the sense, what is the challenge? Over 6 million people, it supports the queries per year via phone or the mail. So we can reduce it, the cost as well as the waiting time. This is one of the most important applications what we have seen with respect to that. And what is the solution? We are making use of a AI powered virtual assistant, where we have built this using the concepts of NLP and the speech understanding, right? So we are automatically booking the tickets of the humans using this chatbot. Result is, we are going to handle around 5M plus conversations every year, which is reducing the cost of the uh, railway service by 40%, and it is also improving the solving the queries by 8x faster. right? In the sense, the benefits are we are improving and we are increasing the use of it so that it is available for the humans 24 bar 7 and reduces the cost, improves the efficiency. Next, smart assistants. Now we have discussed what is a chatbot, how the chatbots are designed, what are the different types of an API we have used for the design of the chatbots. Now we are talking with respect to the smart assistants. I think like most of us are already familiar with using of the chat assistants. Either it can be the Alexa, Siri, right? How are they working? They are all the already designed smart assistants, right? Which we are like using it on a day-to-day basis to easier our tasks, right? For example, to schedule the meetings, in some of the cases if I need to use alarm, if I need to listen to the music, or if I need to perform certain operations seamlessly, I'll be making use of a smart assistant to perform all these tasks, right? We have various use cases to handle this, where the majorly these Alexa series are the Google assistants. What we are using it on a day-to-day basis are managing our calendars. If we have any reminders, or if we have any like it plans our day-to-day life easily and I can say uh, smartly, right? That is one of the advantage what we have seen with respect to that. And we are also integrating these technologies with respect to the existing systems. In the sense, we are inculcating the concepts of smart assistants to the NLP tools, to the chatbots which are readily available, right? In the sense, uh, what is the architecture? For example, it has the user input, it has the matching, it has the response, it has the output. In case of the smart assistants, right, we have the NLP engines, we have the birds, right, we have the integrate recognition, we have the manager, we have the APIs, and we have the multimodals, which either takes a text, voice, or the vision as an output, right? What are the major differences we have seen? Uh, the complexity of designing it is quite low, it is medium, and the agents are quite high. And this uses the basic concepts of NLP, where the advanced as well as the LLM plus reasoning is used. And Alexa and the Siri are the major examples what we have seen with respect to the smart assistants. Nowadays, we are making use of the AI agentic assistants, that is the Crew, AutoGen, uh, auto encoders are used for all this. And how AI understands the intent. In that sense, we have certain predefined models which is mainly used for the classification of the intents and identification of the entity recognitions, where we are making use of the name entity recognitions. And also we have the, for example, if I need to take care of the vector representations, or if I need to represent the positional embedding with respect to the, in such cases I'll be talking with respect to the cosine similarity, where we are inculcating the embeddings. And when we need to generate any of the textual sequence, in such cases I'll be using the prompts. The prompts, it can be make use of any of these type of inferencing rules. Either it can be a few shot, zero shot, or a one shot. When we have a few shot, zero shot, or a one shot, like based on the number of examples what we have given to the LLM to perform that tasks will be considered, right? These are all some of the basic things which are majorly required for us to design a smart assistant. Now we are focusing on how this process automations with the agentic framework. We have discussed the chatbots, smart assistants. Now focus on the concepts of agentic AI. In the sense, let me take an example of identifying and the automating processes. For example, uh, some of the agents where we use it for the automation purpose. For example, compared to the traditional with respect to the agentic, I've given certain examples where the chatbots or the robotic process automations are uh, overcome by the lang chains as well as the crew AIs, right? And this is what the inventions which we are seeing on day-to-day basis: lang graph, crew AI, autogen, small agents, agno, pedantic AI, Mastra, atomic agents, right? These are some of the examples where they are playing a very important role. Now we are focusing on the agentic frameworks, right? As I said, auto generative, next we had a long chain, next we had a crew AI, next we had a meta GPT. Right, when we were talking with respect to all this, right, we were focusing on either it can be a single agents, or it can be a team based agents, or it can be a multiple agents. And also we started talking with respect to what are the different types of the use cases we are focusing on, right? For example, we are going to build a stack, full stack apps from the text. In some of the cases, like we are going to make use of the open AI clots, or I can also make use of the Azure for the execution of the complex applications. Yes. Next, let me take some of the examples of how can we make use of the market research assistant team. Right. I'll be going to build two agents. The first agent will be going to perform the research operation. The second agent is going to perform the summarization operation. Uh, have a look at this example here. Like we have a search tool called as a DuckDuckGo search run. This is one of the tool what we are using it here, right? It is going to perform two operation. One is the researcher and the another one is the summarizer operation. This is for the task one, where we are going to start the research operations, and we have defined three options, that is role, goal, and backstory. And summarizer is also performing the same operation: role, goal, backstory. And this is the second task where we are going to find the top three AI startups, right? And here also we are performing two operations: analyze and summarize. And the crew is again used for the demo. This is another bot which we are making use of it as a code explainer bot. Again, the same operations which we have used. One is for researcher, one is for the analyzer. This is another one called as an invoice assistant using agentic framework. Here, this is one of the example which I had recently executed. Here we are using the OCR for extraction of the data, and also we have a lang chain which we have integrated as a chain of execution. We have a streamlit which is working as a front end. We are uploading the file, extracting, downloading, validating. I tried with uh, Timmy Lama also, but I didn't get the good results with respect to Timmy Lama. Again, I just started with the crew with itself. This is how it was deployed. I'll be going to show the output of this. How are we going to make use of this invoice assistant basic architecture? This is one of the project what I was focusing on, and whatever the text extracted with respect to it, it is of around 26,186. And the invoices data, whatever the data I have taken, this is represented here. If in some of the cases, if it is missing, that is also showed. And I'll be going to convert it into a dictionary. This is going to give the organized data, what is the data. And in some of the cases, if the it has two components, one is for organizing and the another one is for validating. In some of the cases, if the data is missed, it is going to show what are the amount of the data it is missed. If the prompt is not matched, it is going to show the data missing. And either I can take the invoice, take the report of a single invoice, or also I can take multiple invoices and generate the report in the form of a CSV file. This is also one of the application which I have executed. I can download it as a CSV file. And also I tried for email also. If I'm using for email, I need to map my email to the data where I had used the IMAP for performing such operations. This is one of the email assistants for the monitoring of the data. This is what the received result what I have received. uh, Now I need to show the demo. Before going to show the demo, I have few more projects. I'll be going to just give a insight of those projects. And one of my project is also on designing a lang chain where we are using this for the news generation. Right, we take the data, user input, we take the data, and it validates, and in each and every case, this is what like we are using. This is mainly used for some of the basic newspapers. In the phase one, we had content acquisition, next processed, and concepts of RAG applied, and the response was generated. Some ethical considerations are required, as we have seen. There is a concept of hallucination, toxicity, which has to be handled. So we are using the basic concepts of hallucination or very basic concepts of ethical consideration. Most of the government of US and UK, they have already implemented certain policies, government policies, to handle these ethical considerations, but it is yet to be implemented in India. Still we are about to frame the policies, and also people are majorly working on the ethical AI as well as the constitutional AI uh, for framing some of the considerations with respect to this. And also, this is one of the projects where we are majorly focusing on defining the tax policies. Right, we have two agents here. One agent is taking care of the government policies. We provide the data, and it is going to load, and it is going to take the actions for the government policies what we have defined. And the another one is takes the input, and it is going to provide what is the consumption rate and what is the accumulation rate. Right, that is for the economic population. For example, few people will come under the 10% slab, 20, 30% slab based on the consumption as well as the accumulation. This is one of the economic populations which we have decided. Right, that is also one of the example. Here we have considered some of the taxation functions, and also whenever we are taking care of the taxation functions, we have considered some of the tax rates and some of the percentage what we have received. And we have also taken the reward system which we have taken as a Gini index. Using this Gini index, either it can give the range of either 0 or 1. That is one of the value which we have taken. And the reward system, which when we are assigning the reward for that respective system, based on the consumption as well as the absolute data assurance, we are going to consider this. And these are some of the results which we have obtained for the policies. Okay. Uh, this is majorly this is what we have seen, how are we measuring the success with respect to the automation. Because in each and every day when we were talking, the overall productivity of the day-to-day activities, most of the repetitive tasks are improving. Right, that is one of the important thing. And in some of the cases there might be errors also, we need to focus on and come up with the outcome. That is also one of the challenging tasks what are we focusing on. In each and every day the technologies are evolving, and we are executing it and getting the output. These are some of the technologies which we are leveraging on a day-to-day basis of using concepts of AI, right? Uh, this is what I wanted to talk with respect to the theoretical concepts. You have any questions? Am I audible? Any questions? Shall I start with the hands-on?
Yes, ma'am. You can start. There is no question, ma'am.
Fine. Okay. Thank you. Okay. As I said, first we are focusing on invoice assistant, right? This is one of the project which we had mainly implemented for AI Explore Technologies. That is one of the company which we had focused on. Uh, One second, I'm starting with my VS Code. See here, I'm going to talk about one of the uh, invoice analysis agent. Here, this is one of the application which we have developed using a Crew AI. The agentic framework, what we have used here is a Crew AI. The reason behind using this Crew AI is, as we all know, we can execute the complex applications using the Crew AI. right? The complex functionalities as well as the models can be used. Initially, I had tried with Landgraph. I did get a very good results with respect to Landgraph, and for this, I have used LLM. The LLM model I have used is a Gemini, right? The Gemini LLM is used here for the implementation, and uh, this has three libraries. The first library, what we have used is uh, PyMu PDF. This PyMu PDF is majorly used to extract uh, the files from the PDF format. As I said, like either I can make use of uh, the group of invoices, or I can also make use of a single invoice, right? And next, I had used one more library as an ECOCR. This ECOCR is one of the library which we are mainly used.
I think ma'am lost the signal. Please wait for 5 minutes.
Sorry, it was disconnected. I'll repeat again. Uh, this is the voice analyst which we had generated. Abhishek sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Uh, we were talking with respect to the voice analyst which we had designed, right? As I said, this is one of the agentic AI where I had used. The agentic framework, what I have used here is a Crew AI, and the LLM model is a Gemini LLM model. For this, I have used around 1.5 version of the Gemini LLM model. right? I have used three libraries. One is for taking the PDF file, that is PyMu PDF was used, which is majorly extracting the PDF file. And the another one is Easy OCR is used here, where we are extracting the scan data also. And instead of Crew, Langflow, I have used Crew here. And this agentic framework mainly contains two agents. One is for organizing the agents, and the another one is for validating the agents. Whenever I'm organizing the agents, I have considered several prompts here, right? Whatever the text we are organizing, either it can be the invoice number, the date, the PO number, the customer's names. Some of the mandatorily required prompts are taken here. And when I'm validating, I will be like using the Crew. Since I'm using a Crew AI, I'm using a role, goal, as well as the backstory. These three different models are used here. And I'll be running my file, and if any of the values are missing, it is going to say whatever the values are missing. Now I have connected it to the front end using the Streamlit. This is the front end what I have connected. And this, like, either I can take a PDF as an input, or the entire zip file which contains the set of PDF. You can execute and check. I have shared you the PDF completely. I'll take any one of the invoice, and I'll be analyzing it. See, you can observe here, right? Whatever the invoice or the text I have taken, it is displaying the text content and where it is, and the results and all. Here I have taken a few of the invoices number, the date, who is the vendor, the customer name. These are all the prompts which I had given for the uh, processing. And here you can observe, like, few of the values are represented as none. That is indicating those values are missing here. So it is displayed as none, right? Now I can download this as a CSV file, and I can export it however it is required, right? This is one of the applications which we have executed. Along with this, I can also connect this to, for example, this invoices can be majorly used in emails, where I can directly, like, now I am uploading the files manually. I can upload it automatically also, where I can make use of IMAP. IMAP was one of the, like, that is what I had showed it in my PPT, where I had used IMAP and executed the emails. This is also one of the examples which we had taken. This is the first one which we are executing. Are you guys executing along with me?
I have shared the code in your WhatsApp group as well as in Canvas. Please download the code and execute it side by side.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Do you need any assistance? Any time is required to execute this? Okay. Uh, then I'll start with my next problem statement. See, nowadays, as I said, like, we are reducing the amount of coding time required. So I can say we are making use of the no code concepts, right? So like that, we have also created one of the uh, application which is mainly focusing on software pricing optimizer. Here, this is the Landflow, which this is one of the tool which directly creates the dashboard, where I have created an agent here, right? I have displayed the models as well as the API which I have used. The grok is used for the generation of the API here. This model has the input as the prompt and the chat output, and it also have connected it to the calculator. As I said, this is one of the software pricing optimizer, right? You can make use of this for the like you can make use of this for the creation of any of the LLM application, because the grok models are one of the efficient models which we are using it on a day-to-day basis. This Langflow, you need not to install. You can directly you can directly sign in using your Google IDs, and it has some of the NVIDIA tools also. Like if you want to use Nematrons, or if you want to use Tably, right? Those are all some of the NVIDIA tools which you can directly use it here. And also it has some assembly AI. For example, in most of the cases, if you want to make use of acoustic data, if you want to use voice message, or the text message, or the voice search, in such cases you can make use of these tools to execute it. See, I have the code here. I'll execute it and show it. See, as I said, this is one of the app which is majorly. This is one of the program. You can have a look at it. I have just directly connected it to the Langflow. I've not done complete coding here, and I have written a few data. Few prompts are given here, and like using those prompts, uh, I'm able to execute the required output. Here, like I have used the variables, whatever the variables I have in prompt, and the development cost, the customer cost with respect to it, and also I have used the estimated subscribers, monthly infrastructure cost. These are all some of the cost which I have defined here. You can have a look at it. Uh, Continuous development cost we have taken here. Uh, Customer support cost. Using all this, like I have generated the output which is providing the pricing optimizer for the software people. This is one of the pricing optimizer which we have used for which we have used for the software professionals. This is mainly used for the to optimize the subscription cost, right? That is what we have done it here, right? You can have a look at the output what we have received. Total monthly cost, which is infrastructure cost, development cost, support cost. Along with that, the profit margin, what like this is the profits what we have gained, revenue needed, and the subscribers, total number of subscribers. These are the details what I have got it from that. This is also one of the examples which is using as a smart assistant for software pricing optimizer, right? The previous one was the invoice assistant. That is also one of the smart assistant which we can directly map it to the mails, and which we can generate, and which we can take the invoices and summarize it and export it to the CSV file to the accounts directly. No need of human intervention is required in both of this. Dear all, any doubts here? Are you understanding, or are you able to follow? Fine. I'll show you my next application. See, this is one of the application which I have designed as a virtual assistant. In this application, Uh, Here, like I have used uh, virtual assistant. This is mainly for the business, where I have given a minimum number of prompts, like around 5 to 6 prompts I have given it here. The LangChain is used, Gemini is used, and the RAG is used here. In this, the LangChain, which I am using it as an LLM, and also I have used some concepts of RAG, right? The These are all the basic prompts I have given, right? The basic prompts, how it can be executed. And with the help of these prompts, yeah, I'll start with my main loop. See, like here, I have created the virtual assistant mainly for the business, and this statement gets executed infinitely because it's a lang chain where it is generating the where it is generating the responses, and the continuous interaction is required with the humans. So that is loaded, and once it is done, like we have created an agent here. The agent is created, and the respective vector space is created here along with the Gemini Pro. The vector space is created and the rank chain. We have defined certain tools here. One is for the sales, one is for the employee handbook, one is for generating the report, and the another one is for the knowledge base. Right? These are some of the tools which we have created it here, and the descriptions along with the tools I have given it. Along with that, I have created three uh, tools. One tool is for uh, getting the employee handbook information. The second one is for generating the report, and the third one is mainly for creating the agent. No, not for creating the agent. One is for the sales data, employee handbook, and generating the report. These are the three tools which I have created it here. And when I execute this, as I said, I have given 4 to 5 prompts here. Sales report for Q1 2024. It's taking time. I have multiple sessions are executed. 1 second. Yes, I have got this output. I have entered the details for the creation of the virtual assistant. For this, like I have generated it for around 4 to 5 prompts. You can have a look at it. Here I had given uh, what is the sales report for Q1 2024. You can have a look at this. The AI revenue increased by 24%. This is the output I have received with respect to this execution. Is that clear to everyone? You can also execute and check with this output. Yes, you have any questions? I have one more application. I'll just show you the output of that. This is for crypto trading, where we had majorly focus on generating the crypto outputs. This is working as a crypto trading assistant. That is my last demo. I had around 4 to 5 projects. Have a look at this example here. Like I have created a application which is mainly going to evaluate and assist us in the generation of cryptocurrency with respect to the bitcoins and all. Like certain statements are given it here. It like whenever we are like it's still loading. Whenever we are executing this, it is just going to show us the price. For example, either it can be in the bitcoin with respect to the Binance, or with respect to the Cardano, or with respect to Solano, whatever the price we give, it's executing, and it will be going to show the out. My system is taking us quite a time to load it. You can execute and check the output of this. These are some of the applications which I wanted to execute and show you the output, which we have done it today. Any queries? Uh, you have any queries? Abhishek sir,
Yes, ma'am.
any questions?
No, ma'am. There is no question in the chat box. Please
Okay,
unmute yourself and ask question directly if you have any question.
okay.
If there is no question, we can wind up.